Hi, I'm Nia. Today, I want to share a strategy that I've been building piece by piece over the past few months, testing, refining, and watching how it performs in different market conditions. This isn't another boring video filled with theory. It's a practical framework that helps beginners understand where to look, what to pay attention to, and how to make their first decisions without panic. It might all feel new and overwhelming right now, but trust me, I'll show you a clear and simple path to help you take those first confident steps. Ready? Let's go. Today, we are going to analyze the market with you using a simple technique. And first, let's get started with setting up the workspace. First of all, set the time frame to 5 seconds and the expiry time to 15 seconds. Then we will add a tool that we will have at the core of our analysis and decision making, and actually add the moving average and change the period to 24. Let's get started. Here we see an upward movement along the moving average. From this, I open a position in the direction of this movement. It's pretty obvious. There, that's great. This deal is working out in the plus. We see the moving average, and in fact, from it, we can open a trade on the rise. We can see that the moving average is a support level in case of an upward movement, and a resistance level in case of a downward movement. Before we move on, here's something for those just getting started and wanting to go deeper. In my community, I post several entry points daily, helping members focus on what truly matters. Watch the process unfold and slowly start to take action with real understanding. I give you the tool, you apply it. Sounds good? Then check the link in the description to see how it works in practice. Let me move on. We see an upward movement in the indicator and in the price. Because of this, I open a trade up and wait for the result. Great. In this situation, we see the usual situation on the chart. Exactly the same as the previous case, an upward movement of the moving average and an upward movement of the price. We're clear on that. Let's move on. Here, I boldly open a trade down and wait for the expiration time because we have two strong downward movement without any signs of reversal. And this is the kind of situation that you have to take advantage of. All right, folks, in principle, we act according to the trend. We do not invent anything new. We see a downward movement of the indicator, open a deal downwards, and in fact, fix this position. The main thing is to pay attention to the behavior of the indicator in time. I'm moving on. Here we see the beginning of a reversal movement on the moving average, and in fact, I open a position up, waiting for the expiration time. It's going well. What we have seen here is that there was a downward movement, after which a reversal was formed in this zone, and right here, in fact, our moving average started to increase, and there was an upward movement which I caught. Write in the comments if you have any questions about this strategy. I get it. Sometimes the hardest part is just figuring out what's even going on the screen. But once you start seeing what experienced traders are looking at, everything begins to click. In my sessions, I show you entry points, no jargon, no drawn out theory, just many beginners. Just watching this way is what sparks their first breakthrough. They start to see structure where there used to be chaos. If that sounds like something you want to try, the community is open. The link is in the description. Moving on, here we see a very strong seller's pressure. The chart tried to show an upward movement, but it failed. So I opened the trade down for continuation of the global downward movement and wait for the expiry time. Great. We see a downward movement of the indicator. There has been a slight correction. This correction did not consolidate above the moving average. This is where further downward movement occurred. Just to know how to read a chart and get results. I'm moving on. I open a bold trade down immediately because the trend is our friend here and the trend is down. So I'm opening down too. Then a lot of experience, it intuitively becomes clear. Great. Moving on, we see an upward movement in the indicator and it is on it. Paying attention to the indicator that we open upwards, there is not even any doubt about the success of this deal. Great. Basically, we had an upward movement here, followed by a small correction and further upward movement. Also, our indicator has always been directed upwards as well. Successful market situations to date. Honestly, a tool on its own is just a set of functions, but when you know how to use it right, it becomes faster, sharper, more effective. That's why in my sessions, I walk through real trading decisions so even beginners can understand how to plan their moves and avoid missing important signals. In fact, we just wrapped one of those sessions yesterday. Want to see how it went? The link is in the description. I'm moving on. What we see here is that the global move is upward, followed by a small correction. The moving average indicator is again pointing to an upward movement. Because of this, I opened a position up, waiting for the end of the trade. It was a very small movement, but it was in our favor. I'm glad to hear that. Basically, we see momentum, correction, momentum, small correction again, then momentum again, correction and further upward movement. It's all kind of controlled by the moving average. That is, we can observe it because to us, the moving average shows the movement itself. See? And we have to use this sliding scale and know how to work with it. I'm moving on. Here we see a strong downward movement. From this, I open a trade down because the moving average is also directed downwards and it remains only to be on the same wave with it. Good day, friends. You see, further movement was actually present here as well, but unfortunately, it didn't work out so perfectly. Nevertheless, the deal worked out in our favor. I'll move on. Here we see the beginning of a reversal move to the upside. From this, I open a position also upwards and wait for the expiry time. Great. Pretty straightforward deal. Seen here as a downward move, a correction, a downward move again, and in this situation, the formation of an upward movement. Opened upwards from the level of the moving average and closed successfully. Perfect. That's how it turned out to analyze the market today using moving average indicator. The market pleased me and so did the methodology. What did you think? That wraps it up. How are you feeling? I hope things were clear and didn't leave you with more questions than answers. If you're ready to keep going, there's a link in the description to my community. You'll get to actually take part in the process, not just watch from the sidelines at your own pace, your own way, and I'll see you in the next video.